Hey guys, so finally I took the chance to put my Sportwagen on the dyno. We've got a Neuspeed power module in there, as well as the engine short ram intake. The Neuspeed power module is supposed to give you maybe 15% on 93 octane gas, I believe. I'm currently running 87, whatever was recommended by the manufacturer, just the base grade. And the engine intake itself, I think the jury's out there whether that actually does anything for power or not, just because it doesn't, it's not enclosed. It actually takes some of the hot air from the engine in as well. But I can tell you, on a miles per gallon kind of a figure, that, man, hearing your intake and all the induction noises a little bit more just makes the car so much more fun to drive. Obviously it's not a sports car, but it's my daily driver, and I like to have it the way that I like it, right? So unfortunately I didn't put it on a dyno in stock form, so if you want to see how much it makes in stock, send me some money, click on my ads, my video, whatever, like, subscribe and all that good stuff. Maybe we can get enough money together and I'll throw it on a dyno in stock form. But as it stands, from the factory, these cars make 170 horsepower as well as 199 foot-pounds of torque. It's got the 1.8 liter TSI engine in it, and let's put it on the dyno and see what happens. What's usually the rule? How much you lose on the drivetrain?
It depends. I don't typically use that. The reason being is when Mustang Dyno came and helped me set it up, they said on average to get crank horsepower you multiply the wheel horsepower by 1.33. Just with how they calculate the horsepower, that says gives you it's an approximate.
Yeah, that's pretty generous, I thought.
Somewhat. I mean, it does kind of hold true with just how they run the software and stuff like that, that regardless it's 1.33 because they take into account what the dyno does. It's got a magnet over here, and as the car increases in speed, it applies a load to the roller to simulate wind resistance as it's increasing speed.
Okay.
So that's on the Mustang dyno, it typically reads lower than a dyno jet. Mine reads anywhere from 8 to 10% lower than any of the dyno jets around the area. Gives more of a real world figure because, when you're actually driving on the road, you're punching through the air.
Right.
was 169 horsepower, 201 foot-pound torque. That's your
Okay. What's next? See? Okay, so we did a couple of polls. Interesting problem at first is that the car it seems maybe it was running for too long and it recognized that something was up that was on the dyno. So actually it went into kind of a limp mode. It went up to 5,500 RPM and no higher than that. But after turning the car off, turning it back on and going quickly through the gears, that wasn't a problem anymore. So we figured that out. The next thing was that ultimately normally these guys are running cars in fourth gear, and apparently that wasn't working very well for this car, so they did third gear pulls. We did 3 third gear pulls, and at the end of the day the third one was the fastest. So at the end of the day I got the results right here. I'm gonna blend that into the power figures that the car actually makes. We're looking at 169 horsepower at the wheels, as well as 201 foot-pounds of torque at the wheels. So you can see really at 2500 RPM we're already at max torque, and that kind of starts to drop after 4500. And then our peak horsepower is pretty much reached at 4500 RPM, going all the way to 6500, right? I think these are pretty impressive numbers, you know, how quickly that car actually makes some decent power, considering it's a pretty economy car, right? My fuel consumption is about 32 miles a gallon, so that's pretty good. Yeah, the actual horsepower that the dyno is putting out is at the wheels and not at the crank. And so there's a couple of debates on whether the whole drivetrain and everything robs about 20 to even 33%. The guys that I was talking to at the tuning shop, they mentioned with the Mustang dyno, it's usually you want to add 33% back on top to get kind of a crank number. At the end of the day, forget crank numbers, because what really matters is the output you get on your wheels. Guys, do me a favor, leave me a comment, tell me what you think, how much power loss we have from the engine to the wheels. Is it 20%? Is it 33%? What do you feel like? With the numbers of 169 horsepower, 201 pounds of torque at the wheels, I think it's pretty interesting to see what this thing would really make in the engine, and I think that could be a great debate. So let me hear what you guys have to say about that. Whatever, like, subscribe and all that good stuff.